Hello, everyone. We are done with week one. I have to say, everyone did just a phenomenal job this week. Just going through, I finished reading and grading all of your discussions, all of your responses, and everyone just did a fabulous job putting in a lot of depth of thought. The effort was very, very clear. I could see it in all of your discussion posts. So I just want to thank you guys for the level of effort that you did put into your assignments this week. You truly went above and beyond expectations. So wonderful job. I hope you guys enjoyed learning a little bit about the foundations in education this week and some of the other topics like mandated reporting, constructivism, and so forth. So your discussion this week was on Prop 13, and there was a couple articles for you to read, and you guys were asked to find a couple unique articles as well to contribute to the discussion. And I just, what I like to do every week is kind of when I go through and I'm looking through the discussions and I'm grading, I like to look for kind of common themes and topics that I'm seeing kind of pop up across the board. And kind of one thing that I really saw pop up a lot in all of your guys' discussions was really how, first of all, Prop 13 impacts school funding in general. That was kind of new to a lot of you, learning about that. But specifically, how funding is going to change right now for schools because of COVID-19. A lot of you kind of talked about how there are going to be a lot of budget cuts in the schools. And how that's going to be really tough because just reopening in general, for the schools to reopen, it's going to be very costly. So for example, schools are going to have to start considering, more cleaning supplies, protective wear, even an increase in staffing, just because we don't want, too many students there at one time with one teacher. So a lot of you kind of talked about how can we cut budget when we actually need more in order to reopen schools in a way that's safe, and that seemed to really trigger a lot of you guys, and you felt very passionate about that. So I think we kind of all feel the same way, and it's something we're gonna have to see what happens, but that was really neat reading what you guys had, and a lot of you found some very interesting articles, so thank you for that. This upcoming week, so week 2, is going to focus on culture and race in education, which is also a very interesting topic, and I think really pertains to the times right now. So I think it's going to be interesting to hear your guys' discussions on this. But kind of the key things that you guys are going to learn, you're going to be able to identify the impact of cultural and racial influences on teaching and learning. You're going to be able to research and evaluate current thinking on racism in society, particularly as applied to the K through 12 educational system. You're going to be able to recognize and reflect on personal values and implicit and explicit biases, the ways in which these values and implicit and explicit biases may positively or negatively affect teaching and learning, and identify strategies to be able to mitigate any negative impact on the teaching and learning of the students. And that's an important point because we are going to be kind of using that in when you guys do your paper. So really make sure you reflect on this piece while you guys are learning this topic this week. And then the last point that you guys are going to learn is to identify anti-racist strategies that can be implemented in your school environment, so in the K through 12 education. So I think this is going to be a really interesting topic to all of you, and I'm really excited to hear what you guys have to say. So you're going to, again, go through the lesson and then make sure that you post your discussion Thursday by midnight. I know last week was a little confusing because there were kind of these specific criteria within the rubric that you had to kind of accomplish, and so we were able to get through that. You guys did great This week, all you're going to do is from the lessons that you learn, you want to make sure that you write about 2 points of interest from the lessons with your explanation of why. It's 1 to 2 paragraphs. And then you want to find and evaluate at least one, you could do more if you want, but at least one research article that's relevant to what you learned this week. And you want to discuss its professional implications. So how is it going to impact you in the school? That's 1 to 2 paragraphs. And so you're going to focus on that. Make sure you get that done Thursday by midnight. And then Saturday by midnight, you want to reply to at least one peer. And you want to make sure this is a substantive response. It should be about 1 to 2 paragraphs or so. So again, that's due Saturday by midnight. And then this week you have 3 quizzes. And those are going to be just like last week, where it's a variation of multiple choice, true, false. Take it as many times as you want, open notes, unlimited time. And I just wanted to note that I was getting some emails that there were some weird questions in the quizzes from this last week. And so I reached out to Dr. Webster, who's the one who created the course and created the quizzes. And she said that what had happened is that when she copied the course over, there's a whole bank of questions she chooses from. When she went to try to remove some of those questions, they weren't able to copy over with the class, and she actually can't see them. So she removed them herself, but now with the copied course, she's unable to even see them. So when she looks at it, they're not even there. So you guys may come across some questions that are kind of funky, where you're like, I didn't learn this. I think it was the Talking Dogs video, which she removed when she edited the course. So don't fret. I went through and I gave points back for those ones, and I'll continue to do that. Just give points back to you guys if you got those questions wrong, and those are questions that were not related to anything that you learned in the course. Something that I also do that I didn't mention to you guys before is I always go through and I look at the quiz statistics, and if I see that the majority of you get a question wrong, I just give you guys points back on that question. This last time, I didn't see any question where the majority of you got the question wrong. In fact, you guys did really well on the quizzes this last week. Most of you got A's. A lot of you got 100%. So it seems like you guys are really understanding the material well. But again, feel free to reach out to me if you do have questions about any of the content. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful week too, and keep up the good work. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say in the discussions.